Good morning, students. Today we will cover these topics. Topic number 1 is charges equilibrium, that is remaining portion of our last lecture. Then we will do electric field lines, okay, second topic. And after that we have to solve some questions based on the same topic, that is electric field line. These questions are those which are asked in board exams. Then at number 4, as you can see, we have electric dipole. So in electric dipole we will learn electric field and torque, these two topics, and then we will solve one question from NCERT, that is question number 1.27. Actually this was a question asked by one student, and after that we have to do CBSE question banks. Some questions I have taken from CBSE question bank. Okay, so let's start our topic now. Okay, let me tell you before starting that what feedback I got. Many of you are just busy in watching videos. You have to understand that these videos are only 10%. Watching videos on physics is just a 10% part of the learning. Okay, 90% thing is that you have to make your own notes, complete notes, and more than that you have to solve numerical. If you really want to learn physics, then 80 to 90% physics student learns by solving numerical problem, by solving examples that are described in your textbook, as you know, which is NCERT. More than that, you can solve previous year questions asked till now in your exams. Okay, so just be in right track, learn in a proper sequence. Now we will start our first topic of today, that is equilibrium of charges. So what is this topic actually? Now I have made one diagram. With the help of this diagram we will try to understand actually what is equilibrium. Equilibrium, you can understand that any particle which is at rest is said that it is in equilibrium. Means that particle is not moving to left or right, then we call it is in equilibrium. So here, as you can see in this picture, we have one ball that is kept at point 1. If I apply some force on this ball towards right or towards left, then you can imagine that this ball will go towards left or right according to the direction of applied force, and it will never come back to its initial position. Such type of equilibrium is called unstable equilibrium. Okay. Here you can see in ball number 2, if you apply some force to this ball towards left or towards right, then after some time it will again come back to its original position. Means what? If any ball is in equilibrium, it is at rest, and you apply some force on this particular thing, and after application of force, if the same object come back to its initial position, then such type of equilibrium of that ball is called unstable equilibrium. Now you can understand this ball 3 is in unstable equilibrium, this ball 4 is in stable equilibrium, and this is in unstable equilibrium. The same thing I have mentioned over here, that point 1 to 135 are in unstable equilibrium and point 2 and 4 are in stable equilibrium. So what is definition of stable and unstable equilibrium? See, if a point charge is in equilibrium at a point, then if we slightly displace the given charge from its equilibrium position and charge particle returns to its original position, then such equilibrium is called stable equilibrium. These are the same definition which I explained you. You can pause your video and you can note it down in your notebook. Here you have to tell in which question charge capital Q is in stable or unstable equilibrium along the asked line of axis. In question number 1, you can see we have two charges, plus Q1 and plus Q2, and distance between Q1 and Q2 is small r. Then we have a third charge, plus Q, that is kept in this region, that is between Q1 and Q2. You have to tell if we slightly move, just think like this is your ball, like that in that picture you have seen that ball is replaced by some charge q. This charge q is in equilibrium at this position. Remember what was the result for equilibrium? If your charge plus q1 and plus q2 have the same polarity, then third charge may exist in equilibrium only in this region. Now it is given that this q charge is already in equilibrium. To tell this equilibrium is stable or unstable along the x-axis. Okay. Now if you slightly move this charge q towards plus q2 or towards plus q1, that is along the x-axis, will this charge particle come back to its initial position or not? You have to think. So how we will proceed for this? As in our previous result, we concluded that plus q1 plus q2 are of same nature. So this is the same theory that I told you right now. Now step number 1 you have to see from here. Step number 1 is what? We have a charge plus q1, okay, and we have a charge plus q2. For example, if you are not comfortable with q1 and q2, let me take some values. You can understand plus 1 coulomb and plus 9 coulomb. This example we already had solved in our previous lecture. And the third charge particle is somewhere in between these two charges, that is between 9 coulomb and between 1 coulomb. Now here O is the point, O is the middle point, and P is that point where our charge is kept somewhere here. And you can understand it very well that at this point P, your charge will be in equilibrium. If this distance is r, then you can understand that at a distance x equal to r by 4, your charge will remain in equilibrium. This is the previous numerical. Now we will see that force on P due to 1 coulomb and force on P means at that point, at that charge, due to 9 coulomb are equal at this position. Now see the second figure. In second figure, this q charge was kept over here initially. This q charge now is shifted towards left. As you can see, this P point has been shifted towards left with compared to its initial position. This dot, new dot, is its new position. So at this point P, you can understand that this 1 coulomb charge will exert some force on this plus q2, plus q, this capital Q, and that force will be force of repulsion, and that will be along this arrow, and this 9 coulomb charge will also exert force on this capital Q, and that force will be along this arrow. But thing is that are both forces equal or not? We know that if this charge will move towards this plus 1 plus q1 coulomb charge, the force exerted by plus 1 coulomb charge will be greater. Why? Because at this point P, both forces were equal, but when your charge will shift towards left, then effect of this charge will increase. This much distance will decrease, and with the decrement of distance, force on the particle will increase. Also we can understand that from 9 coulomb charge, the effective distance will increase when this charge will go towards left. That's why effect of 9 coulomb will decrease and force exerted by this 9 coulomb will decrease. So what will happen? Ultimately the net force will be towards right hand side, and this new charge, this third charge, will move towards its initial position. That's why we can say this charge is in stable equilibrium. Now you can note down this explanation from the screen. You can understand it from here also. Just pause your video and note it down. Now see the second question. We have two charges, plus 1 coulomb and plus 9 coulomb, and we have a point P, okay, and at this point P, one more charge is kept, that is minus q. Okay, and this 1 coulomb charge will exert some force of attraction on minus q. That force will be towards left, and this 9 coulomb charge will also exert some force, attraction force, on this capital Q. That will be towards right, and at P both forces are equal. Why both are equal? Because this charge capital Q minus Q is in equilibrium at this point. Now how can we say that this charge is in equilibrium at this point exactly? For that we have to solve our numerical. Okay, you can understand that in previous lecture we have solved this question, and in this case our answer was r by 4. R by 4 means, suppose total distance is 12 meter, so 12 by 4 will be 3. So this is our previous answer. Now this is additional problem. After that the second part will be asked to you, that whether this minus q charge is in stable equilibrium or in unstable equilibrium. Now we can understand that if this minus q charge will be shifted towards left. Now see in the next diagram. Here, if this minus q charge, this was initially at this point P. Now this charge has been shifted towards left. Okay. So tell me, this is its new position here at this point. Now this minus q charge will be attracted by plus 1 coulomb still, but this time this force of attraction, that is F1, and its direction is along this arrow. This F1 force is greater with compared to F2. Why? Because this distance is lesser than the previous one, and we know that force is inversely proportional to r square. If your distance r will decrease, then your force will increase. Here r is decreasing, that's why effective force by plus 1 coulomb is increasing, and force due to 9 coulomb will decreasing. So we can say that ultimately if you shift this charge towards left, then it will keep on moving towards left only, because left hand side force is greater. Now here you can also understand that force on F1 due to plus 1 coulomb is greater than F2, that is force due to plus 9 coulomb. Note it down, this solution. Now move to for next question, that is question number 3. In this problem we have plus 5 coulomb charge over here and plus 5 coulomb charge over here. This time I have taken both charges equal, and a third charge plus q or capital Q is kept just in middle region, and third charge plus q is kept just in middle of both the charges, that is plus 5 and plus 5. So here and one more thing I have considered, that this distance is 2 meter and 2 meter, means total distance is 4 meter. You have to tell, if third charge plus q is moved along the y-axis, then is it in stable equilibrium? So here you can understand that if you will shift this plus q charge in y direction, then what will happen? Some force will be exerted by plus 5 coulomb. Here you can understand this plus q is shifted from this middle region O to this new position, that is O dash, suppose. Now at this point this plus 5 coulomb charge will exert some force on this q1, and that direction of repulsion force will be along this arrow. Similarly this plus 5 coulomb will also exert some force on this plus q, and that direction will be towards this arrow. Now you can understand that the net effective force of these two will be along plus y axis. Okay, and that is 2f sin theta, as we have already done such numericals, and this f cos theta and f cos theta will be cancelled out. So I mean to say, if you shift your charge from the central position towards plus y direction, then it will never come back to its original position. It will keep on moving along y axis. So remember again that recall that picture diagram, that diagram which I told you at starting of the lecture. If your ball is kept somewhere and it is for a while it is in equilibrium, but if you just slightly shift its position either towards plus y axis or minus y, either towards left or towards right, then this ball will never come back to its original position. Such type of equilibrium are called unstable equilibrium. Okay, you can note down this solution also. Just pause your screen, and here we have its solution. This question based on stable and unstable equilibrium, this question was asked in 2019 for 2 marks. Okay, there they have considered basically a dipole. There we have two charges, plus q and minus q. Basically dipole I will tell you in some time. In dipole we have two equal charges. Okay, and these two charges are kept somewhere and some force exert on these two charges. You have to tell in such question whether your equilibrium of charges is stable or not. We will do such example also, but here you can understand that if charges are kept in such a position, then it is easy for us to tell whether your charge is stable or unstable equilibrium. Now move to next problem. In question number 4 we have plus 5 coulomb charge here and another plus 5 coulomb charge. This time third charge is minus q, and you have to tell that if you shift this charge towards y axis, then will this charge be in stable equilibrium or not. Now you have to do it by yourself. Conclusion or answer will come out that this charge is in stable equilibrium along the y axis. Okay. Next topic we have, that is electric field lines or electric lines of forces. It is also called electric lines of forces. This concept was given by Michael Faraday, and he gave this concept. What he told, actually I have made these 4 points. Okay, in these 4 points you will understand the exact meaning of the electric field line. However, for your proper notes you can refer your NCERT book. So point number 1 is what? Every charged particle creates a field around it. Now you can understand this very well. If you place any charge in space, around this charge we will get what? That is an electric field. Now second point is, to visualize the field we draw the imaginary lines around the charged particle. Now always this charge is not visible, like for earth also gravitational field is not visible. So it is basically difficult to understand any invisible thing. That's why what we do, we make some imaginary lines, and these lines actually tells us the measurement of electric field. We will understand how we make these lines. There are some thumb rules for it. Point number 3 is, but there are some restriction or rules to draw these lines. Basically this is our main point. Means we have to learn this point only, how to draw electric field line for a particular situation. At least 8 to 10 times questions are asked on this topic, based on this topic, that is electric field line or to draw electric field line. So our target is just to understand this point, how we will draw electric field line. Point number 4, the most important rule is electric field line at any place will represent the trajectory of positive charge. Now this is the most important point and only one point. If in the whole topic you just remember the 4th point, this point only, this topic you will cover in all aspects. Now we will try to understand what is the meaning of this statement number 4. I have taken example 1. As I told you in starting, that if you want to learn physics, then there is only one way, that you solve as many examples as you can and solve it by yourself. In this example we have one charge that is of plus 2 coulomb, and I have made some points like point B, point C, point D and point E. My question is that if a 1 coulomb charge, remember this next charge, this new charge should be positive only. only then this concept or these rules are valid. For negative charge you have to take reverse direction. So for now just try to understand. If you have to take this charge positive, if 1 coulomb charge is kept at B, at this point B, either you can place this 1 coulomb at B, or you have to place at C, or you have to place at D or at E, but at one time it will be placed at one position only, at any one place. Then where it will go? Question is very simple, where the charge particle will go. Now you can understand that if you place your 1 coulomb charge over here, then this plus 2 coulomb charge will exert force of repulsion, and due to this force this 1 coulomb charge will go along this arrow. If you place 1 coulomb charge at C, then this will go along this arrow, because we already have done this portion that this 1 coulomb charge will go only to that direction where it experiences the amount of force, and at D you can understand now it will go along this, and at E it will go along this direction. So very simple solution for question number 1. I will tell you why we are doing this question, but for now just understand this will be the answer. Here you can also note it down in your notebook. This is the direction. Now second question we have, draw the electric field line for plus 2 coulomb charge in the previous example. So here we have previous charge plus 2 coulomb. At B, electric field line is denoted by this arrow, okay, and at C electric field line will be drawn like this one, like this arrow. At E electric field line will be this one, at D, sorry, and at E it will be this one. If I consider more points like F, G and H, you can tell me that direction of electric field line will be this much. Basically I mean to say direction of electric field line or electric field line is nothing but it is that line, that imaginary line which we draw in the direction of motion of any other charge. Got my point? If you place any positive charge over here, not only at B, if you place any positive charge at any place, okay, and if I ask you what is the direction, possible direction where this new charge can go, you will say it will go along this line. So I am telling you that this line is the direction of electric field line, okay, or it is the electric field line. Now come to our point number 4 again. The most important rule is electric field line at any place will represent the trajectory or path of the positive charge. Means the path of positive charge is the electric field line. Just remember this simple thing. If you got the concept, try to answer for new questions. In example number 1, if take minus 2 coulomb charge, now where will plus 1 coulomb charge will go? Remember this should be plus only. So here we have minus 2 coulomb charge. At B I place plus 1 coulomb charge. If I place any positive charge, then where it will go? Tell me. It will go along this arrow, and the direction of its motion is electric field line. I am saying you, it will go along this arrow. Here it will go along this arrow. Now it is easy to predict where our next charge or second charge plus 1 coulomb will go. It will go only along the line joining, or it will go only along the direction of acceleration or direction of force. Here you can read the above 3 dotted line mean this line and this line, or you can understand this line also. Above 3 dotted lines shows electric field line of forces. So electric field line of forces due to negative charge will be this one. Based on these two examples, we got two conclusions. That is two properties. Number 1, electric field line due to positive charge is always like this. Okay, always imagine that if we place any third charge at any point, where it can go along this line only, and its trajectory or its path is electric field line. Electric field line due to negative charge will be like this one. Now next topic. Here we have mentioned some properties of electric field lines or forces. These are often asked in your board exam. You can note it down, all these 4 to 5 properties. Property number 1, the line of forces start at positive charge and terminate at negative charge. This is the rule. You have to learn all these properties. They cannot form a closed loop. Later I will tell you why this cannot form closed loop. Like here we have positive charge and here we have negative charge. So always from positive charge electric field line originate, means direction of electric field is just away from the positive charge and direction of electric field is towards the negative charge. That's why it is true for electric field line also. If you place any third charge particle over here plus q, then it will move along this electric field, along the force it is experiencing. However, here also we have some more point to discuss, but for now just read property only. The tangent line at a point in the above curve gives the direction of the electric field. If at any particular point I ask you, here you draw a tangent, then the tangent line at this point will represent the direction of net electric field at this point. We will discuss on this point also. Property number 3 is what? Two electric field lines can never intersect with each other. This property we will also learn how this thing is true, but for now you have to remember this thing only. Electric field lines are always normal to the surface of a conductor. Next property, electric field lines are close together in strong electric field and far away or far apart in a weak electric field. Property number 6, the line of electric field do not pass through a conductor because electric field inside a conductor is 0. Now one by one I will explain you all these properties, but again, as you know, we will understand these concepts with the help of some interesting examples. Now example is electric field line due to two positive charge. This question has been asked in board exam many times, that draw electric field line due to two positive charge. Now try to understand. Suppose here we have one positive charge plus the circle represent first charge, and here we have second charge plus, okay, and due to these two charges I am saying that electric field line will be like this, as you can see as per arrow, means electric field direction will be towards this line, this curve. And here also due to this positive charge electric field lines are always away from the positive charge, so our electric field line will be drawn like this. Now you can think that why electric field lines are not straight, means for positive charge we always learn that electric field lines are away from positive charge, that is okay, but it is always straight. Why it is not straight? That thing I have to explain here. So in the first diagram, suppose I have considered point number A only, okay, and try to focus in this diagram, that is answer for A. For a while just forgot answer for B, you have to focus on this A only. We will talk about this point in detail. At point A, I have drawn this straight line, if you can see, like this one, and here we have our point A. This point and this point are same. For this positive charge I have written charge, I have made a circle, this plus, and this plus charge and this plus charge both are same thing, means these two diagrams are just similar. Now focus on A. If I ask you what is electric field at A, okay, so this is your new question, that electric field at A you have to calculate due to these two charges. Now you can understand that these two charges are almost equal, okay, for now we have considered equal. You can take unequal charges, for that also it is true. Now think your first charge will apply electric field toward this arrow. At this point electric field direction will be as shown by this arrow, and due to this second charge electric field will be along this arrow. Now the first arrow will have E cos theta component, as you can see. This second arrow will also have, means this is your first electric field, this will have E cos theta one component, and the second electric field will also have E cos theta, both will be cancelled out. The net electric field is towards in vertical direction. That's why at this point, if you observe your this electric field line, this curve is just straight for this point. Okay, direction is just straight. So the direction of curve shows us the direction of electric field basically at that point. Suppose I have considered one more point, that is point number B. Just below the point number B, I have made one more diagram. Now pay attention. I think here you can understand. Now just below the point B, I have one more thing, that is the same point B, and due to this plus 1 charge and due to this plus charge at 1 and charge at 2, I am asking you how much is the electric field at this point. Now you can understand that due to this plus charge, electric field will be along this arrow at this point B, and due to this second charge, second positive charge, electric field will be along this arrow. Okay, if I ask you that in these two arrows or in these two electric field, this E1 is the electric field due to 1 and this E2 is the electric field due to 2, which is greater in magnitude? Tell me, think about it. Okay, you can understand that if these two charges are equal, suppose I have taken equal charges, still we will have this E2 of greater magnitude. And here also you can understand that for your clarity I have made this E2 just in bigger size and this E1 just in smaller size, so that you will not get any confusion which is greater. This E2 is obviously greater because this distance is very less, and E is inversely proportional to R square. Okay, so tell me where will be their resultant. Like E1 and we have these two electric fields, and this dotted line, this one I am saying, this dotted line represents exactly angle bisector of E1 and E2. And where will be your resultant? Towards left of this middle line or median, or towards right of this median? Where will be your net resultant? You can understand that your net resultant will be just slightly inclined towards this E2. Why? Because the resultant vector is always towards the bigger vector. Here I have one more example for your clarity if you have got any confusion. Suppose I have two forces, 10 Newton and 1000 Newton. Okay, and this dotted line represents their angle bisector. If I ask you, can you calculate their resultant by law of parallelogram? If this theta is given, you can calculate it very easily. But where will be that resultant? That is just towards left or above from this median or below from this median. You can understand that your resultant is along this arrow. As you can see, this is your resultant. Why? Because it will be towards 1000 Newton. Okay. So here at B also, your electric field, resultant electric field of E1 and E2 will be along this arrow. Now tell me, at this diagram, at this position B, your curve looks like this one. Its nature is along this arrow. Its trajectory is along this arrow, and this arrow both are same. I mean to say, if you calculate electric field at any particular point, at a given point, the net electric field at that point will represent your electric field line for that charge system. Now read this point number 4 again. The most important rule, that is electric field line at any place will represent the trajectory or path of positive charge, and path of positive charge will be along the net electric field at that point. Now see, at this point V, as I told you, that direction of net electric field is along this arrow. That's why our curve will be drawn like this one. Okay. If I ask you that at point C, what is the direction of curve? You will tell that direction of curve is shown in the figure, that is along this arrow. So along this arrow you will get your next result or net electric field at this point. The same thing I am asking you now. See, at the point C, how you will make the net electric field. At point C, your electric field due to 1 coulomb charge will be along this arrow. You can understand it. And at point C, electric field due to second positive charge will be along this arrow. Okay. And if I ask you, in these two arrows, which is greater, E1 or E2? And you can see that your E2 is greater. Why? Because this second charge is just closer to this point and this R is lesser. So your resultant ER will be closer to E2. Means this resultant will not be along this arrow. Okay. It will be along this arrow, that is E2. That's why at point C, you can see clearly that your electric field is shown by this arrow. Okay. Now I think you have understood how to draw electric field line. Now I have taken some questions which were asked in board exams for electric field line. Okay. So question number 1 is what? So figure shows electric field line of forces due to charges Q1 and Q2. We have two charges. One is Q1 at A and Q2 at B. And write the nature of charges on them. This question was asked in CBSE F 2003. This is code basically. And many question, you know that CBSE always repeats many concepts. Question based on all concepts are repeated year by year. So it is very important for you that solve all previous year questions. So solution is what? As you can see that electric field line are towards A and here it is also towards B. So definitely your charge A is negative and B is also negative. This was asked in your exam that you have to tell nature of the charge. Second question. Now in the second question, you have to draw lines of forces to represent a uniform electric field. This question is from CBSE and outside Delhi, and it was asked in 1995. Okay, so thing is that you have to make electric field due to a uniform electric field. Okay, so uniform electric field is represented by arrows like this. Okay, and between these arrows there should be a constant gap, like this gap and this gap should be equal. This gap and this gap also should be equal. You can make parallel lines and you can say that these electric field lines are constant. If you remember, suppose here we have plus Q charge and at any distance R, if I ask you what is the electric field, then you can say that electric field is given by K into small q upon R square. Okay, and if you increase this R, your electric field will keep on decreasing. That's why you make your electric field line like this. Okay, if I ask you, here is your gap between these two lines. Suppose this is line number 1 and this is line number 2. Then this gap between these two lines is lesser here and it is more here. Okay, so this higher gap represents that electric field at this point is lesser and electric field just near to the charge is greater, because here gap is smaller. Next question is, in above example, what may be the source of this constant electric field? Now remember how we can create the constant electric field, because due to single point charge, electric field is always variable and it is always keep on decreasing. So for constant electric field we have to take an infinite sheet, and due to this infinite sheet your electric field is given by this formula sigma upon 2 epsilon naught. In this formula you know that there is no expression for x, or there is no r square term or r term. That's why we can say that this electric field not depends on distance, it has the same magnitude. In question number 4, this question has been asked many times, like this is from outside Delhi. Outside Delhi means this region, north region here, and this was asked in 2014 and 15. So question was, why do the electric field line do not form closed loop? Okay, so this is basically a property of electric field line, that it originate from positive charge and terminate to infinity or terminate to negative charge. Okay, suppose if it will form the closed loop like this, okay, closed loop means the electric field line are drawn like this. Okay, it is asking that why it is not completing its loop. Okay, so if this line will complete its loop, then it has to make a complete loop like this one, and here you can see that electric field line is originating from negative charge and it is terminating to positive charge, means at this point direction of electric field is towards plus q charge, which is not possible. So this is our answer. You can note it down it from here also. Next question was asked in CBSE, that was again, this was from CBSE outside Delhi, and 2019 and 17, 2 times. We have a positive charge plus q, like you can see in the diagram. This diagram was given in the question, that is kept in the vicinity of an uncharged conducting plate. Sketch the electric field line originating from the point charge to the surface. Okay, now understand that suppose here we have a plate, a thin plate, or you can understand any metal body is kept over here. So by induction, this plus q charge attracts positive ion. Okay, this is positive charge, so it will attract the negative ion, or you can say electron, that is present in this metal. Okay, due to which positive ion will be created and it will go away from the negative charge. And here we can understand in this solution that due to positive charge electric field line is always away, and due to negative charge it is always towards itself. So electric field line will be drawn like this. Moreover, the important thing is that you have to make this 90-degree angle also, because electric field is always perpendicular to the surface. Okay, you have to draw your line. You can make one more line like this way, but here it should be at 90 degree. So next question, why is it necessary that the field line from a fixed charge placed in the vicinity of a conductor must be normal to the conductor? This question was asked in 2009. So it is saying that suppose if you have a positive charge plate like this one, okay, here you have some metal plate, or you can understand some rod is there, and some linear charge is distributed on this rod like this. So electric field is always away from the positive charge, that is okay, but it is saying that electric field is always at 90 degree. Why is it so? Why it can't be at any other angle? So here we will consider that suppose if our electric field is making some angle theta which is not equal to 90 degree, as you can see, suppose due to this positive charge plate or positive charge rod, electric field is in this direction theta, then it will have two components. One is E cos theta, along theta is always cos theta, and one is E sin theta. Then this E sin theta is okay, but this E cos theta will exert some force on these positive charges which are present on the surface, and due to this positive charge or due to this electric field, these positive charge will experience a net force in this direction. Okay, and this body will automatically starts moving, which is not true, because here law of energy is disobeyed. Okay, what does it mean? Means without any law of energy is without providing any external factor or external force, you can't displace any particular body which is in equilibrium. Suppose this surface, this sphere is in equilibrium at this point. You have taken out some electron from its body, so on its surface some positive charge will appear, and if this body is at rest, suppose it is kept at some table, then it will not move automatically. Okay, without any force it will not go anywhere. So due to this electric field component, basically we can understand that this electric field is exerting some force on these charged particles, and on these charged particles a net force will exist towards left, so this body will keep on moving automatically without exerting any external force, which is not valid. You can note it down its solution also. Now next question. In this question we have two charges, plus q and minus q, and we have two metal plates. Okay, and remember here is no gap. I have just drawn it by mistake, but there is no gap actually. These are held with each other and both are of metal. Then question is that if you place plus q charge here, minus q charge here, how electric field line will be drawn for this whole system? Okay, for this whole system you have to make electric field line. So see here, as you know already that here there is no gap. Otherwise if there is any gap, still you can make electric field line here also, but we will move as per question only. So here we have plus q charge, and this plus q charge will try to attract some electron. Okay, actually this plus q charge creates its own electric field. You can understand it now that around the positive charge an electric field is created, and this metal plate is kept inside its electric field. So what will happen? There are already many electrons inside any metal, you know it very well. So due to this electric field, the electron which are present in this metal, these electron try to get attracted, okay, towards plus q, or this electron basically experience some force, and that force you can understand, if electric field is towards right, then that force experienced by negative charge is just opposite to the electric field. Okay, but there is some limitation that these electrons cannot leave the surface of this metal. So what will happen? As a result, this minus q charge will accumulated over here, these electrons, and from where these electrons be obtained, we got this electron from where? We got this electron, these minus particle from atom only. Atom means that is present inside this metal sheet, and if you extract electron from that metal sheet, some positive ion will left, like here you can understand Na positive, sodium positive. If you extract some electron from sodium, Na positive ion is left. Similarly here you will get Cu plus 2 ion, or suppose if this metal is made up of copper, then you will get Cu plus ion. Okay, and you can understand, suppose here we have electric field due to this plus q charge, and these positive charge always move in the direction of electric field. That's why they all will gather on this particular side. This phenomena is called induction basically. So here similarly this minus q charge will attract positive ion, and minus charge will accumulate over here opposite to the electric field. Now due to this minus q charge, electric field line is always away from positive charge like this. Okay, and you have to make this angle as a 90 degree also. Here also this plus q charge is placed and this minus charge is placed, so electric field line is always away from positive charge and towards negative in form of curve. And this charge, this electric field line, you have to make it with 90 degree, means you can't make any line like this at any other angles, like more than or less than 90. Okay, you have to remember these things properly. Next question. Now here we have one more question. As I have mentioned, it is very important. Okay, and basically this question was given in CBSE sample paper or CBSE question bank. As you can see in question, we have a charge plus q1, capital Q1, and we have one more charge, that is q2, and it is given that q1 is greater than q2. Okay, and you have to make you have to sketch electric lines of forces for two positive charge and placed at a distance d. Okay, now see, this q1 is greater, it is given, and this q2 is lesser. Down arrow means lesser. So this is your diagram, this is your answer. Here we have q1 and here we have q2. From q1 you have to draw lines that should be more than lines drawn by q2. Like here I have mentioned 4 lines, here you have to make more than 4 lines. Okay, it shows that q1 is greater in magnitude than q2. Basically these lines, if you will make more lines, these lines will represent your amount of electric field. Okay, and it is given that q1 is greater, so we have to make amount of electric field in this way. Second most important thing is that if I ask you that O is the middle point, then where your electric field will be 0 in this system, towards left of O or towards right of O? Just think, it will be towards right of O. Why? Because here q1 is greater, so its effect at this point, at a particular point, and effect of q2 at a particular point P will be equal. q2 is lesser in magnitude, but its distance is minimum, or its distance is lesser compared to this much distance. That's why towards right electric field may be 0. So here this N means null point. Null point means electric field is 0 at this particular point. So you have to draw this null point just towards right side of the center point O. If I take you back in the previous question, here you can see we had an example, or you can say here we had a plus q charge, and here also we have the same charge, and these two charges plus and plus both were equal in magnitude. So your electric field lines are drawn like this, means neutral point is shown somewhere in the middle. Okay, means this curve will be symmetric in this case of equal charges. Now come to our main question. As you can see here, you will show your null point towards right or towards plus q2 charge. So next topic we have to learn, that is electric dipole. Dipole means two pole. Okay, di means 2, tri means 3, like that, mono, di, tri. So dipole, and pole means something like North pole and South pole, means those things which are just opposite in nature. That's why these things are called poles, like North pole and South pole, just opposite to each other. Similarly, pole in charges, pole means what? One charge will be of plus nature and second will be of opposite nature. That's why we call it polar charges or poles basically. So here we have dipoles, means plus q charge over here and minus q charge over here. The first positive charge and second charge, that is negative, both should have equal magnitude, and both are kept at a distance a. Okay, means distance between them we consider, that is a, or either you can take L also. Now let me tell you what is its physical significance. Like these 3 elements I have mentioned, oxygen, nitrogen and fluorine, these are basically electronegative element. So what happens, suppose if we talk about a molecule like H2O, okay, in which we have H plus ion and OH minus ion. We know that H ion is positive and OH ion has negative charge, but both have equal magnitude, means this polarity of charge is opposite but magnitude is almost equal. And this is your atom, this circle represents your atom of hydrogen, and this circle represents this molecule OH minus. Suppose this atom has radius R2 and its radius is R1. This radius, basically in physics we consider both radius as almost equal. So this R2 will be represented by L and R1 will also be represented by L. Or you can say this radius of the first atom is A and radius of second atom is also A. We always consider both as equal. So this plus charge is mentioned by plus q over here, and this negative charge, negative ion, is mentioned by minus q over here, and distance between them is considered 2a, or you can consider it 2l as well. Similarly, if I ask you that we have a molecule HCl, and in HCl also we have this bond, and we know that the Cl is also electronegative, so it gains that bond electron towards itself, and it has to sacrifice this H ion, and here we got positive charge. So this atom, hydrogen atom, basically has radius a. As you can see, this is radius of hydrogen atom, and this second a is radius of chlorine atom. We always consider both are similar. That's why in dipole we always take this distance a, and this positive and negative charge is charge of these ions. Suppose if you have one example like H2O. In this H2O, you can understand this is by default structure of water. That angle is just almost near to 100, or I think 104 or 108, like that. So this angle in this molecule here, this hydrogen get H plus ion, and their oxygen atom got delta negative ion. Again we have this H plus, here we represent it by partially positive charge, and here we again show it by partially negative charge. Okay, so there are basically combination of two dipole. One dipole is this plus q and minus q, and from here we will take one more minus q, and that plus q and minus q will form one more dipole. Okay, this is the physical significance of dipole. Later I will tell you why we are learning all these molecules, but here now understand one more term. We have dipole moment. Now how dipole moment is defined? Like if I ask you what is actually moment of forces. Okay, suppose here you have some object, you must have seen, this called seesaw, and here we have one force F acting downward, and here also we have this force F acting downwards. Okay, if I ask you what is the moment of these forces about any point, okay, about this O, or about, say, about this point O dash, then you can say that take any single charge F, okay, and multiply it by total length, means F into L by 2 into F into L by 2, so it will become basically F into L. This is called momentum of any physical quantity. So here we have to take momentum of charges. Okay, so either you can take q into a, okay, and due to this minus q, momentum about this O will be q into a, and this due to this q it will be q into a, and both will be in same direction because both are in opposite at opposite polarity. So both will become q into 2a, or you can say momentum is given as q into 2l. Any single charge, in shortcut we will always learn it as any single charge into distance between both the charges is called dipole moment. And this dipole moment is a vector quantity. This n cap represents its direction. Its direction is always along this line. As in Coulomb force we have direction of force, that is along the line. So dipole momentum also has the same thing, that is direction of dipole momentum is along the line and from minus q to plus q. Like here we will have direction along this arrow from minus q to plus q. Now come to next topic. Next is our purpose, that how we will proceed with this topic. We will basically study this topic in two aspects, or in two ways you can understand. Type 1 and type 2. Now what are these type 1 and type 2? In type 1 we will learn what will be the electric field due to these 2 point charges. Basically this dipole is nothing but combination or collection of 2 point charges. We have to study its electric field created by this dipole, and this electric field we will study at axial point, at equatorial point. Equatorial means this is your dipole. Suppose here you have your positive charge and here you have negative charge, then this point is called point at axis. Here if you can see it, okay, this is your point at the axis, and here if you say this point is called point on equatorial position, means just middle of this segment we draw a perpendicular line, and this is called equatorial or bisector position. And then we have to understand at any general point. Similarly, if we talk about type 2, then in this we have what will happen to the dipole when it is kept any external electric field. This time your dipole will be kept in electric field. Remember, two things are there. One is electric field created by this dipole. Second thing is that if this dipole itself is kept in any other electric field, okay, then what will be its behavior? That is our second thing. And under that topic only we study about torque and force on the dipole. And you will see in your NCERT book 1.27 example is there. I have discussed that example here as well, as one or two student has asked about that query. So here we have to find in numericals basically torque and force. So here is our first topic, that is electric field, calculation of electric field due to dipole. As you can see here we have one positive charge plus q, and here we have one negative charge, that is minus q, and this is your point P. This point P is kept at a distance r. Now remember, always when we say that this point is kept at some distance, we always measure that distance from the center of the dipole. Okay, like in case of earth, if you remember, suppose one particle, one small mass is kept at some distance, and if I ask you at how much distance it is, so you always measure that distance from the center of earth to the center of this second body. Okay, so same way we will tell here also that our point P from the center of the dipole, this point P is at a distance of small r, and here this radius is small a, this length is small a, and this length is again small a. So at point P, electric field due to this first charge E1 will be kq upon r square, but r is effective distance of that first charge plus q and between this point P, and here you can understand from the diagram it is r plus a. So I will write r plus a square and direction is plus I. Similarly, due to this minus q charge, electric field E2 will be kq upon r minus a whole square minus I. And you can understand one is along plus I, second is along minus I. So net electric field will be magnitude of E2. Why E2? Because this magnitude of E2 is greater, because we are dividing it by a lesser distance, that is this much. Okay, so higher value minus lower value, we will get magnitude, and direction of electric field will be towards this higher value, that is towards E2, that means towards left. So here you have to solve this, and by simplification you will get this answer, that is 2 times k q into 2r into a upon r is to the power 4. This is just simplified form. You can understand it here also. This is just, you have to solve this LCM and you have to simplify this numerator and you will get this answer. And this q into 2l, this is called dipole moment. Okay, so we will write it by P, this q into distance between charges, and that is 2 into a, 2l or 2a. So 2 kp upon rq is your electric field. Remember, here we have ignored this a square with compared to r square. That's why we can write this one. Second portion is electric field at equatorial axis. Suppose we have 2 point charges plus q and minus q, and at equatorial position we have a point P. At this point P you have to tell what is net electric field. So you can understand that due to this plus q charges, electric field will be along this arrow. Okay, due to plus q, and due to minus q, electric field at this point will be along this arrow. So both electric field are equal because both charges are equal, and due to symmetry this vertical component will be cancelled out. I didn't mention it over here, but you can understand it. A net component will be E cos theta and E cos theta, that is 2E cos theta. So net electric field, as you can see in screen, this is given by 2E cos theta, and if I ask you direction is along this arrow. Now see, direction is from plus q to minus q, or here you can say that direction is towards right. That direction is basically opposite to the direction of dipole moment. Okay, here it is opposite to direction of p, because direction of dipole moment is minus q to plus q, and here electric field is along this plus I. So this point here you have to keep in mind. And if you will solve this, E value, you know, E is any electric field due to any single charge, that is kq upon r square. R means this hypotenuse square. Okay, and this hypotenuse is, you can solve it by Pythagoras. It will under root perpendicular square plus base square, and here you have to write value of cos theta. Cos theta is base upon hypotenuse, so it will be a upon this value. So finally your answer will come out to be kp upon rq. Next portion is, when your dipole is kept in an electric field uniform, we will have a dipole. Initial position of dipole is what? Your minus q charge is kept here and plus q charge is kept here. Okay, this is your plus q charge, and at starting point this plus q is experiencing some force towards right. Remember, this electric field is uniform, basically it is given here, it is uniform. So value of electric field at this point and at this point both are same. So tell me where this plus q will experience force, towards right, and this minus q will be towards left. So both will be equal. So net force in this condition is 0. What we have done, we have just slightly displaced this charge, this dipole, okay, in anti-clockwise direction with an angle theta. So now your minus q charge is kept here and plus q charge is kept here. At this plus q charge, you can understand direction of force will be towards right, and at this minus q, direction of force will be left, and value of that force will be QE. So in this condition, you can imagine that this dipole cannot remain at this particular angle always. It will become straight. Okay, so what is the net force on the dipole? Net force is, in this condition also, net force is 0. Plus QE towards I direction and plus QE into minus I, that is QE force in minus I direction. So net force on this system is again 0. But if I ask you, is there net torque, or torque is also 0? I mean to say, this dipole will not go towards left or towards right. Okay, means its translational motion is 0. That is true. But its rotation is 0 or not? Or it will rotate? The answer is, it will rotate along clockwise direction. So what will be that rotation? What will be measurement of that rotation? Basically measurement with how much speed it will rotate, that measurement is called as torque. In physics it is called torque, and torque is defined as force into perpendicular distance. So we have to take torque about O due to all these two forces. Now come to second point. Second point is that, what is torque about O? So we will have two torque, torque 1 or tau 1. This will be force QE, this force QE, into perpendicular distance between this force, action line of this force, and this point. Okay, so here you can understand that this distance, this hypotenuse is A, and this base component is A cos theta, but that is not useful for us. This perpendicular distance is A sin theta, that is useful for us. Because if I ask you what is the action line of this force, then you will say action line of this force is this one. So from this point you have to take perpendicular distance perpendicular to this action line, and that perpendicular distance will be this one, and it will be vertical component of this A, and vertical component is A sin theta. So we will write it QE into A sin theta, and direction is clockwise towards minus K, your dipole will rotate. Similarly, torque 2 will be QE into A sin theta. This second torque is due to the second force. Remember, we have to calculate as many torque, as many force we will have here, over here. Okay, so we have 2 force, then we will calculate 2 torque. Again, the second torque is QE into A sin theta. If you will add both the torque, you will get the net amount of torque, that is 2 times of any single one, that is QE A sine theta, and direction is minus k because your dipole is rotating towards minus k direction. Now this tick mark point, note it down, it to this Q, this 2 and this A, this will become Q into 2A, and Q into 2A means Q into length between dipole, and Q into 2A becomes P. So we can write it PE sin theta or P cross P as well, where your theta will be, this PE sin theta will be written as P cross E, and your theta will be angle between P and E, direction of P and direction of E. Here also you can verify this thing. If I ask you what is direction of P, then you will say that direction of P is along this arrow, okay, that is from minus Q to plus Q, and direction of E is which one? That is this one, along this arrow. And here your theta angle is, that is between first vector P and second vector E. That's why we can write torque equal to P cross E. This formula we can write. Now see the next question. This is example number 1.27. Just you can open your NCERT book as well, and there also it is mentioned, or from here you can read. In a certain region of space, electric field is along the z direction, okay, and throughout the magnitude of electric field is however not constant but increasing uniformly along the plus z direction. Okay, first read the problem carefully and then here look at the solution part. Read it from your book. Here we understand its solution. So what I have done, I have made a cube. Basically whenever you see 3D problem, you can make this cube. This line represents your x-axis, this line represents your y-axis, and this arrow, remember this line represents your z-axis. This is drawn by mistake, don't consider this line. This is your plus z-axis. Now along plus x-axis, or you can say that electric field is along plus z direction. It is given in the problem. Just see, electric field is plus z direction means this black line, it is representing your electric field. It is along what? It is along plus z direction. It is okay. Then it is given that electric field is increasing with distance, that is delta E by delta Z is 10 raised to the power 5 Newton per meter. It should be, I think, Newton per Coulomb per meter. Okay, so your electric field is not constant here, it is increasing along z direction. Okay, suppose your electric field at this point O is 0, at this point 1 it is 0, then this point 2 it will not be 0. Suppose this length is 1 meter, if this length is 1 meter, okay, then at this point 2 your electric field will be this much, means at a distance of 1 meter this electric field is increasing by this rate. Okay, now next thing is given, you have to underline this, that dipole moment is 10 raised to the power minus 7 Coulomb meter, that is Coulomb means Q into meter means 2A. So it is dipole moment Coulomb meter, and you have to remember its direction is along the negative z direction. As you can see in your problem, that this is the last line is direction of dipole moment. Okay, so here amount or magnitude of dipole moment is also given 10 raised to the power minus 7. You know that dipole moment has a direction from minus q to plus q always. So if I ask you where should I place minus q, at 2 or 1? See, dipole moment direction is along minus z. So at 2 I have to make minus q charge, and at 1 I have to make plus q charge, because if you will do so, then direction of dipole moment is always along minus q to plus q, and it looks like okay according to this diagram, because it is given that direction is along minus z direction. Hope you understood this thing. Now next thing is what? Let at minus q location, means where your minus q charge is kept, at that location electric field is E2. Let's consider at this point electric field is E2. Then tell me what will be the force experienced by this minus q charge. If here we have some electric field, external electric field, then it will experience some force. That force will be opposite to the electric field, and that force will be how much? That will be F2 equal to Q into E2, and it is along minus z direction. This is our equation number 1. Similarly, at plus q location, let electric field is even. I have considered at this point electric field is even because both are not same. Then force experienced by plus q charge will be how much? That will be F1 equal to amount of charge q into electric field at that point even. And remember, this direction of force will be along plus z direction, that is along the electric field direction. If I ask you which force is greater, force on plus q or force on minus q, or both are equal, then you will say that force is given by q into E2 or q into E1. See here, but q is same, but here E and E1 and E2 are different. So E2 is greater as electric field is increasing. That's why force on 2 will be greater. So net force on the dipole will be how much? On minus q it is along minus z and it is greater, and at plus q it is along plus z but it is smaller. So you are applying more force at minus q charge. So net force will be along minus z direction. Okay. And that force we will get by subtracting these two forces together, F2 minus F1. The same thing I have done here. As you can see, net force on the dipole is, here this thing you have to keep in mind that E2 is greater than E1. That's why F2 minus F1 will be net force, and this is along minus z direction. So F2 is QE2 minus QE1, again QE2 minus E1. So net force here will be this one, QE2 minus E1. Now here you have to pay attention. What I have done, I have divided this whole factor by 2a, that is length or distance between 2 point charges, and I have multiplied this by again by the same factor, that is 2a. Okay. Now see here, this 2a I have divided it, and this 2a I have written in numerator part. This q into this 2a means numerator part factor together will become p, dipole moment. Okay, and this 2a and this E2 minus E1, it is basically what? It is E2 minus E1, that is difference of electric field, okay, between q and minus q, between two charges, upon length between those two charges. This is called your electric field gradient or delta E by delta Z. So value of E2 minus E1 upon 2a, it is given 10 raised to the power 5. Okay, and q into 2a, that is your dipole moment, it is given 10 raised to the power minus 7. Together if you will solve, you will get 10 raised to the power minus 2. This is in bracket part minus z direction, force has minus z direction, and 10 raised to the power minus 2 Newton will be your answer. So if I ask you net torque is given by P cross E, that is P E sine theta, and here in the diagram you can see that your angle between P and E is 180. How? Because direction of P is towards minus z and direction of E is plus z. So angle between them is 180 degree. That's why your net torque will become 0. So this was the last question for today. Okay, and this is actually the previous one we have already solved. So that's all for today. Okay, thank you.